Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, we promised you more SD2 action, and we are delivering once more on Vitebsk East, the map that we're going to be getting very intimately associated with, at least for the foreseeable future. We are going to have ourselves a nice little 2v2 on the same map from yesterday, but Rang, tell us more.
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have Dnestr and Zhuko, and they're both going to be playing 5th Panzer Division. That's going to be pretty obvious. And, oh, actually, yeah, they're playing completely and utterly wrong. They're playing as a goddamn Russian 2nd Tank Corps.
Of course,
left-hand side.
Zhuko, he's not playing for the Germans, man. He's back from the Russian team.
I got my reds and blues confused. And on the left-hand side, as the Germans, as retold by a funny-looking flag, we have Vartanin and Morozi, and they're both playing as the 5th Panzer Division.
Well, the 1st and 2nd Battalion to the 5th Panzer Division. I know we were talking actually just before we started recording, kind of interesting. We are always going blue left and red right on these maps. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed that. We finally realized why for SD2 the Germans get to be blue. And it's not because, the good guys wear red or white or green or whatever. It's because they're trying to go east, and the Russians are trying to go west. So, mind blown, Easter egg dropped. Yes.
Makes a lot of sense, because we're always, doing this, keeping it color-coded and consistent for all the videos, and, yeah, double entendre, double logic thing. It's nice, but nonetheless, I'm actually really interested to see how this match is going to fare, as the previous one was a 1v1 on this map. So I'm wondering how this map will, play out in a larger 2v2 setting.
That is certainly true. I'm kind of fastened up to the north. So if you look at the Russian kind of infantry choices, it's tons and tons of those automatic Machavchinki. And I'm gonna have to take a Russian class to understand what's going on in every single one of these guys, and that's just fine by me. Don't get me wrong. But it does mean that we're gonna have a lot of assault troops up to the north, and down to the south, we do have some Tankovy, so all the anti-tank troops.
Those are pretty much like the SMG squad, similar to the Avto Machchiki.
But those guys are gonna have the PTRDs too, don't they?
They got anti-tank grenades, I believe, or smoke grenades, one or the other. I know they're. I don't know what actually Tanko Dnestr means, so if anyone wants to put that down in the comments, I'd love to hear.
Yes, as well as how awful my pronunciation is. I don't know about ranks, but
mine's not much better either.
Well, it's nice to see in the meantime that we do have a little bit of Fury units out, but we're not starting with a command unit, which is kind of nice as well. Because I can definitely see the command unit is causing quite a bit of consternation it's definitely done among the open beta group already. We've talked about that on the last replay that we had here. German side, it's nice to see as well. We're actually seeing some early artillery, such as it is. It's just stovepipes, but nonetheless. Russians, not so much.
Yeah, it's pretty... Yeah, Russians is some T-34s. And most of the Germans, we got, one Panther being brought out. Probably going to hit, the middle southern area. And, yeah, I mean, probably up north is... I'm gonna guess the Russians are gonna have a pretty good time in that forested area of all crazy CQC troops, unless there's some stern pioneers up north. No, it's mainly Zertet troops and Panda Grenadiers. They're not gonna have a fun time in that forest. Oh no.
No, they are not. It does look like, interestingly enough, people are pretty much eschewing that, let's call it, from the south, 1-2, the second Russian objective. No one's moving there, which is really interesting to me, because that's a very easy objective to take and control, I would argue. Yeah,
I mean, I think people are scared just being on a hill with no cover, even though, if you actually look line of sight, on the hill, if you're towards the center of it, you're pretty much safe from being shot at from anything below.
That is certainly true. Now, we are going to actually also seeing some of the 12-7s coming out, with machine gun squads. Now, we talked about already at one point, the machine guns are no longer in the infantry tab. They're in support, which is kind of nice. And wow, I actually didn't even see this. We actually 276 mils in the back. You might recognize these from, I want to say Gross Paris, isn't it? But the Festung Gross Paris has a couple of 76 mils, right?
It's either Luftland or 16th Luftwaffe, one or the other.
And I thought we were going to see the Dushka machine guns here. No, it's an SG-43. So we're going a little bit later model machine guns up here from Zhuko Dim. And the Germans, well, the Germans are going to start being engaged, I think, up on the northern side as these half-tracks are scooting up the hillside and taking shots immediately.
Yeah, we got pretty good mortars being dropped right in that road, so maybe it's going to be a little bit tougher for Zhuko Dim to get his SMG troops into that forested area.
So, just want a quick breakout. So, Tanko Tetsaniki, there's the Automachiki, they are the PPSs and the RPGs. And the tanks are the tank ones are just PPSs and smoke grenades.
I think the tank ones, like, historically, there'd be the guys riding on, like, the back of tanks. That's my guess. Yeah, that's just complete and utter guess, so...
The tank riders, got it.
Yeah, like, you know, the added armor on tanks. The Russians.
The body shields. Now, Pioneers are facing off. I'm interested to see this. We haven't done a ton of testing just yet. But it's interesting to see that Gebalteledung doesn't seem to do as much damage as it used to.
Yeah, it definitely was a rough underwhelming explosion. I mean, the explosion effect was pretty cool, but it didn't really do much damage to us Automachikis, as we've just seen, so that's a little bit underwhelming. It definitely seems like it's a kill more than one guy.
I would agree. Now, obviously, of course, you know, proximity has a lot to do with it, but all the same.
Yeah.
It does look like the Russians are forming up for a nice little gut punch here across the center lines. Down to the south, you see very early on, Yak 1B, and actually, I don't think we saw any Russian air actually from the first one that we did we?
I don't think so. But yeah, Kir's rather nice. It's got good veterancy. Not the most powerful weapon loadout, but it's a decent cheap fighter. And we got two Fokker rolls show. And here we go. Nice little furball.
Actually, I was taking a look down to the south because we had a couple of T-34s coming forward, and between the P4s and this very, very brave Pak-36, he was just bouncing shots off of that guy, and he's actually doing really quite well. The 76 does not have a ton of armor.
No, it does not. I'm just looking at his furball up north. It's really quite cool seeing these planes just go at it. Like, they got the fire effect of the airplane that just went down. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Well, and one more time. Actually, did one Focke-Wulf go down? Because I know one Yak...
I think one did, yeah, and then the Yak went down, so now he got a run-on-run against his Focke-Wulf, and... Yeah, the smoke effects on the planes look really good. I don't know if it's really that much difference, but yeah. And then you got the fiery explosion with the fire trail as it crashes down into the ground.
Yeah, unless your name is Tom Hardy, you're not making it out alive.
Indeed. But yeah, Germans down south managing to take pretty much almost the entire, like, southern hill. We do have a 76-43 being brought in to try and stomp his. But that's a lot of SS trooping, Khan.
Yes, that's true, but remember, they have no anti-tank. Air slash trooping are made to be meat shields.
Yep, and he did lose the Panzer IV just then, so... But the Pak-36 up north is actually getting some shots on the T-34. I think one of them was a side shot before the T-34 turned around, and now that door knocker is gonna have to try and find another door to knock on.
Well, we have another moving here from the western side, so yes, the driver might be wounded, but and one anti-tank gun went down.
Yeah, it's strafing from that Yak completely annihilated. I'm finding recently in just the games I've been playing, like, the strafing runs, like machine gun strafing runs, are really powerful now compared to SC-44. The HE value is pretty powerful, but that's just anecdotal evidence.
I think there's a command unit out here for the Germans. I'm trying to find out where that command unit is, though, because I'm seeing
one down south.
Oh, it's all the way down south?
Yeah, it's all the way down south. It's a half-track
one. Oh, I see it. Yep, okay.
And...
The Befehl 2513, okay.
Yeah, I don't think the Russians have any... They have one commander unit slap bang in the middle of the map, and that's it so far. I'm actually rather curious if commander units actually share between teammates. Like, if you can share with your teammates' command line. I doubt it, but that'd be a really interesting chain of command.
That's something we can definitely check, but I don't want to ruin this entire beautiful panelless thing by, you know, bringing up the panel again. Interestingly, to the north, the Germans did hold that hillside. They continue to be very stubborn here, especially that Pack 40. That guy is definitely beastly. I thought for a second we were going to see that trip set of 7643s move up the hillside, but that is not to be the case.
Nope. They're gonna be maneuvering down south a little bit, going through the forest. And honestly, like, those CQC forest areas is perfect spot for those, like, 76 T-34s. Nice and close range, and, you know, if you lose it, it's like a 55 point tank catch. That's jump change.
Now, I am checking down to the south. The Russians are feeling a little bit more frisky now. We are seeing them push forward against small little 2-guard squad and 7643s. But we do have Panzerschrecks. I don't say Vernichtung's Germans there either, but no, those were to the north. And for the record, guys, again, something to note about SD2 is that the deck itself is fully customizable. You don't have to wait until Phase C to get a certain tank or Phase B to get certain kinds of infantry. The only thing you sacrifice by bringing guys in early or late is the amount that you can bring in. So it's a really interesting dynamic sense throughout the entire play. Yeah,
it's really cool, and I'm really looking forward to it in terms of a casting sense, because when we're always casting SD44 matches, we're always like keeping count of, okay, they can get, like, you know, 3 more Shermans left in this phase. 1 hour, you know, it could be a wild card. They could just bring out a Panther whenever now, and I just, you know, that sort of unpredictability, I think, is really quite cool.
Instead of just,
you know, the counting tanks and special forces infantry that you kill in SD44. Because that was really a big part of SD44, knowing exactly what your opponent's taking, because, you know, if you're playing commandos, they're going to have 4 Shermans in a phase.
I do want to say, if you get a chance, there's a Pioneer Squad, a Sturm Pioneer Squad with the Flammenwerfer 48, 41. Absolutely beautiful fire effects.
I know.
Oh my gosh, just watching that tongue... Okay, actually it's going to happen right now. Here we go. Flame on, my friend.
Come on. I think he's just a little bit far away.
Yeah, you're right. It's 120 meters as opposed to 100. Got to get used to that new set of rings, though. Oh, no, now he's moving in.
Pop to smoke.
He's stressed, but I'm pretty sure that tank with the Tsatniki is not going to want to be there in a second. Oh. And there we go. Oh, pinned down, though.
It's gonna, a little bit too stressed out going into that engagement, so he is going to lose his Stern Pioneer Squad, and the Vernichtungs are going to go in for round 2.
Vernichtungs, but yes.
Vernichtungs, yeah.
Yes, and I'm even kind of skipping off half that squad name, but that's alright. What do they have? Okay, ooh, we have a couple 120mm mortars in the meantime, in a DO 217 over here from the Germans.
It's a really cool plane. It's actually a night fighter plane.
Is it?
It's got the radios on the front. Or the radar, I mean.
I was going to say radios. I was like, I would hope most planes have it at this point.
Yeah. But it's not used for night fighting, of course, in SC2, because as you can see, if you look at the skybox, it's pretty clear as day. Instead, it's more of a strafing ground attack plane with a crap ton of cannons and machine guns.
Well, I think one thing that seeing 3 Focke-Wulfs should also point out to you guys is that airplanes are much cheaper as well. We talked about tanks being cheaper, airplanes are about that same kind of cost. I know you and I have not had a whole lot of knock-around opportunity on this particular game, but I know when I was playing some of my own games, I was having entire air wings coming on out. Just an absurd number of airplanes.
You can get, especially like the Ju-87 Stukas, you can get a lot of them if you really want. And I'm looking forward to see some of the more air-powered focus divisions once they get added on later, because they're probably going to be some real funky airplanes. I mean, there already are some pretty funny and awesome airplanes so far, like a 10-point recon plane that the Germans get. It might as well come from World War I.
Well, you know, I can't help but imagine that I think, don't the Russians have a couple of biplanes in theirs?
Yeah, they got the PO2s.
PO2s or IL2s?
PO2.
Oh, because the IL-2 is the legit fighter, the legit fighter bomber, and the PL-2 was the POS, right?
Yeah, that's the Night Witch's plane.
The Night Witch. I admit, I think you have a bit more fluency on the Eastern Front than I do in terms of that. Who's the Night Witch? Regale me.
Long story short, they're all Roman fighter squadron.
Oh,
they flew at night.
Okay. Yeah, these are those. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's a Sabatron song.
Can we also just note that even the Panzer firing is absolutely gorgeous. It's scary. Just that little smoke trail, which you missed on the south. It just took out a T-34 from just about max range. Oh. This game is so beautiful.
It's a really good looking game. Looking down south here, the Russians are definitely trying to assault that hill once again. I'm noticing on this map, this map really focuses pretty much all on hill fights, because you got the southern hill, you got the middle hill, and then you got the northern hill, and those are really the hot spots that you're fighting over.
Additionally, probably a crazy thing to think about it too is that, despite the fact there's a lot of hills, the line of sight is very forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should, if you're trying to plan an assault around this, there's a lot of blind spots.
Yeah, those forests definitely make it a little bit tough.
Well, even beyond the hillsides that you're talking about. So you see, for example, these two guard squads coming on in.
Mm-hmm.
If the Russians wanted to insert an entire, brigade through that line between two hillsides, they could pretty much do it. And there's not much Germans can do about it.
Yeah. It's perfect for short-range T-34s.
Now, have you noticed any kind of firepower difference just yet? So the most in the guns, I know there's always the chance we're going to get modified a little bit more here. But if you're roughly analogous back to an SD-1 weapon, what are the most in the guns kind of like?
They're probably roughly the same as the Kar 98, I'm guessing, in terms of statistics. I'm thinking I'm thinking that's pretty much going to be exactly the same between that and the Kar.
Well, they're roughly the same. The Kar has a little bit less suppression, but a little bit, actually, in a slower fire rate as well. Kind of makes sense. The most in the gun was slightly more modern as weapons go. I think I'm much.
No, I think it's because you're looking at it because there were one squad has 8 carbines and one squad has 8 Mozins.
Oh,
if
no,
you
you're
look
right.
between
You're
the
right.
stats and the guard right now,
You're right.
It's exactly the same stats. I think the PPS-8 is statistically better, of course, than the MP40, just like an SD-44.
Oh, yeah. Well, the rate of fire for the PPS-H is absolutely obscene.
Yeah, let's give everyone 71 round drum SMGs. Good idea.
Actually, interestingly enough, just taking a look at this right now, they has more suppression, but the rate of fire is only another 10 rounds. Actually, it has a higher accuracy, too. That's a little strange. That's very strange, actually. I'm not saying the MP40 was a sniper rifle, but it was decent enough.
Mm-hmm.
But alright. Taking a look up to the north again to see if that nose is really going anywhere. It doesn't look like it. It looks like those mortars are doing an awful lot of damage. How do you find the counter battery so far in this version of it?
Pretty damn effective, I find. It's pretty effective to counter battery enemy positions, especially if you can sneak up an artillery observer to get accurate fire on the enemy battery, which doesn't happen all that often. But it's a legitimate strategy, especially against static artillery pieces such as these 120mm mortars, for example.
I'm sorry, by the way, I should have warned you, but you were in the middle of talking about it. There's Vartanin's Vernichtungs, the Panzer Vernichtungs, just 86 to another 76. It's just, there's that moment of just hunting that quarry. It just is beautiful to watch. One thing we didn't talk about is that the income for every single player right now is still a very balanced income. We're looking at 100, 140, 170. I don't know if that's going to be the meta, or if it's going to kind of develop a little bit further as life goes on, but it's certainly interesting to notice.
Yeah, it's definitely funny I'll pick the exact same income thing.
Also, how we do understand yet what spalling is as opposed to just... I mean, there's spalling death, and then there's just spalling, and I don't know if there's any difference between the two.
I have no idea. If I was to make a guess right now, I guess it... You know, how you have, loader, wounded, and, crew? I guess it would be, a smaller debuff to, all aspects of the tank.
Also, kind of interesting, another one of those early... Oh. Ooh, propeller damage. We also saw a engine stall on another yak.
Yeah, oh, God. I love all the flavor, critical hits. It's so cool. There we got tail damage on the Focke-Wulf, and he's gonna get right in the arse of that yak, and down the yak goes.
By the way, I don't know if you got close enough to hear that engine howl, but it howls as he dives.
That's I mean, we keep going on about it. Like his cast, like his earlier on, it's just we're still in love with the game. Like it's just so cool. It's so cool.
Don't get us wrong. There's definitely more than enough for us to kind of hate about it just yet. But you know that we got time. This is open beta still, so. Now it is interesting to me to see that the artillery, for at least the mortars at 3,000 meter range. I do want to see. Oh, jeez, we have Katya. We have 3 trucks for Katya.
Oh god. 4 of them actually.
Oh, 4? Did I miss the 4th?
Yeah.
One? Oh, I did. Yes. Oops.
That's
getting grouped together, kind of screwing me up a bit.
That's a lot of Katyushas.
We're taking a look around here. We're bang on even. So, guys, again, this particular game is not built on tickets per se. It's built on like negative tickets. So we're gonna be very, very interested to see how this works out. 13-11. The Russians are starting to take some initiative, and I think it's really coming from this kind of, what do you say, town right here in about the north central part of the map.
Yeah, they're starting to amass quite a bit of an assault. I mean, they got the hill area, which is good. If they can get some units on the hill, they could start shooting southwards into the town and try to cut off that area. Or heck, even shooting to the artillery park.
Outside of that, I'm really waiting for this Katyushas to begin their unholy reign. Stalin's organ just ready to play a nice little solo there.
I think he needs to get some supply to resupply those other 2, which have shot off all their rockets.
That would seem fairly wise, wouldn't it? You know, it's interesting to me as well. It looks like earlier on the meta, at least in the couple of games that we've seen, is to inject a lot of half-tracks into earlier infantry, as opposed to waiting and kind of using super cheap trucks and the like. You can see right now Morozi is bringing in several trucks. Earlier on, it's tons of half-tracks. I wonder if that's going to be the meta.
That's definitely an interesting observation. I was usually thinking with a lot of people deck build, and they'd currently want to take just the fastest vehicle for A-phase units because you want to get to the front line immediately at the start of the match. But I mean, half-tracks are still pretty decent. Especially the Russian one with the goddamn 50 cal.
Yes.
That thing can knock out vehicles. It's nuts.
Well, wasn't that kind of the U.S. kind of surplus thing that was Lend-Lease?
Yeah, it's a Lend-Lease M2 half-track.
Okay, just wanted to make sure it wasn't completely crazy. We did see, by the way, the Auto Machiki did take out a P4 with an HE grenades. The heat grenades are obscenely good. If you can get close enough, they're insane.
Which is good to hear compared to the SD-44 anti-tank grenade efficiency.
Which was to say there was none?
Yeah, it was worse than a PR. Worse than a PR, which is really saying something considering you have to get pretty damn close in SD-44 to use them efficiently.
Dnestr might need to rush some reinforcements down here to the south.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've got a Tiger being set up on that hill, and that's going to be an absolute pain in the ass to deal with. And we've got the S-35 here, which could kill it, but the T-34 is not going to really stand much of a chance. And there we got Tiger and a Panther down south, and a bunch of Panzer IVs being brought in. This is definitely a Schwerpunkt assault.
So, Panzers and Tigers, and unfortunately no bears, but oh my.
A little bit of the Berlin Zoo.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I've seen this happen to me, and again, I know you said this game seems kind of apocryphal. I have seen the HE grenades take out a tank. And right now, we're going to see that actually maybe happen. We have these Pioneer squads moving on in to the flank, and the loader's killed. Okay, so the Tiga's down. And the Russians don't know that they're there. Get in there, my friends. Okay, the Russians have to know they're there now. Oh, no, they don't. They're moving in. These are brave freaking Pioneers, especially to charge them with an ZSU right there as well. That's not going to be pretty.
Oh, he throws. He shoots.
Okay, it did more than that, I swear to God. I have lost a P4 to grenades. I swear. Tiga, in the meantime, he's exchanging files with that 76 to the north? Or not?
And also a 85-44 to
off
the
the east. Yeah.
which is doing most of the damage.
Oh, he's firing the APCR, so the... What do we call those? The composite rounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to guess those are going to do some really good damage, and yep, that's one of them. But elsewhere, it does... while the Russians are just massing... for Operation Bagration over here, the Germans just seem to be setting the North just to cope the best that they can. They're not really moving too much about that.
Yeah, they're pretty much just... I mean, really, it's all just down that southern or so, it seems, and they just... I mean, it makes more sense, because that southern area is a little bit more open compared to up north, which is much more forested, and at the moment, the Russian division against the German division does have the better CQC advantage, especially with all the cheaper T-34s that you can scatter around, because at close range, tanks are pretty deadly at close range.
True. Now, I'm interested to see these pack tracks. I don't see the pack tracks probably lasting too long in the fight, but having them at all, I mean, they're not quite the same penetration we saw from SD-1s, but nevertheless, in another set of Panzer Grenadiers being brought into the center part of... Oh, no. Wow, that's a very circuitous route.
Wait, he's going right to the town. He really wants to go out town.
And he's going to take it, too. I mean, what do we have to stop him? 145 mil, and then 143 that can see about, maybe 50 meters on the road.
Yeah. And then that two-man recon squadron, which is very deadly.
Oh, yes. Just the deadliest in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Most kills. Get huge amount of kills. Huge. The best you've ever seen.
I've seen two-man recon squads take out entire armies in Rin,
Exactly.
That's how crazy they are. That's why it's only two-man, because if there's a four-man recon squad, I mean, you wouldn't need to take anything else.
It'd be a war crime. Now, I'm interested to see, like you said, there's a 3-pack of T-34s to the south. And I don't know if they really want to get themselves involved. These are for the 44s. So these guys are up guns, and they have a lot of those. Oh, no, this is the 85mm. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, they have, roughly the same gun. The main difference between the 43 and 44 that I found out is that the 44 does have APCR ammo. So
okay.
That's right, so it's in the high armor penetration. But if you just look at the regular AP ammo, it's pretty much the same damage as the 43. But still really, really good tanks nonetheless.
Oh yeah. And forgive me guys, I'm looking down to the south. I just want to see two more joining in. We have this Panzerschreck squad, so I'm just the sucker for these Panzerschrecks. And
we got the Tiger and the Panthers on the hill to the north, and I think they're going to be able to get some shots as these T-34s come up.
Dead.
Fuel explosion on the Leader Panther, bang on. And then the Panzerschreck, like you said, got the 44.
Armor cracked. Another incendiary.
Absolutely.
This feels like the chaos that it should be,
Yeah, this is absolute mayhem. Damn, this is a battle. This is a goddamn battle. We've got Pioneers charging behind the T-34s. They're getting in close. Gets the surrender. And that's how you do it on the Eastern Front, baby.
Ooh, Katyusha going after Tiga tank. Don't kill it, but they're doing definitely some good amounts of damage to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that southern push is completely stillborn now.
Yeah. And we got the two T-34s in the southern middle area trying to push back. And the Panzer Grenadiers, Superman's against the town, so they're going to pretty easily secure that spot.
And with that, the Germans take the south almost completely.
Mm-hmm. And they got a 14-10 advantage. And looking at the next flags they can capture, yeah, it's not really too bad. I mean, they could probably capture the next zone in that southern town, and maybe that next zone along the road in the middle south, just like southwest of the artillery park.
True. True, but we are seeing Tiger going down. Now the Panther over here trying to trade out with this 44, and ooh, yikes.
Oh, damn.
The door knocker is just knocking, but no one's opening.
Yeah, losing all those heavy tanks. I mean, we got more Tiger. We got another Tiger being brought in, so it's not too bad for the Germans. But at the same time, there's also more T-34s being brought in. A lot of T-34s down south from the Russians, so they're just pushing through.
Yes, they have that for now, but like I said, P4 still right there holding the line. We do have that half track. Oh no, never mind. He's shooting to the north. He's going after that site damaged 76. No, 85. Wow. That's going to be brutal for this game. It's just saying, okay, T-34, 76, 85, 43, 44.
There's so many. Who knew there are so many types of T-34s?
Call it something different, Stalin. Good God.
Yeah. Like, you don't need to put why did you have to make a T-34 1943 76? Did you really need the commander's cupola?
No.
The Mickey Mouse ears on the T-34 1942 was good enough, and it looked funny.
What he said.
What I said.
Yeah. But, slight damage on this half-track, yet he's leading a one-man charge into the Valley of Death.
Yeah, I mean, this is classic Steel Division advice. You always want infantry in front of your tanks, even in a situation like this. So those T-34s down south are kind of running a little bit blind, and hey, look, at Panzer Strike's gonna come in.
He's got one shot left, one opportunity. He's gonna just bum rush this guy. 3. Oh no, you stole his kill.
We got the anti-tank, or the pack track. Gets a load of killed on the T-34, but you know, in 20 seconds he should just respawn.
Well, the thing I do like about this though is that for the we all know that vehicles basically have terrible optics.
Mm-hmm.
But on this, if your vehicle's got good optics, they give them the recon tag.
Yeah.
I like that. You know, there are some vehicles that deserve to have it. Pumas, things like that, you know.
Yeah. Panthers.
Absolutely agree.
No, it makes sense. I mean, I'm guessing with recon tanks are given more like recon optics, like those, you know, scissor binoculars, for example, for Germans. Like, hey, you got some scissor binoculars. You're in the recon battalion now.
We call them trench glasses, but whatever you want to call them, really. Now, I am fascinated to see that this Russian push around this town, that has fallen apart. And actually, wait, those Panzer Grenadiers, they did decently well, I'm surprised. We haven't really focused too much on the infantry engagements here. But the Guards' DPs are more or less able, I would say, to fight the Panzer Grenadiers to a standstill.
Yeah, the Panzer Grenadiers are in buildings, and, you know, usually in the end of the day, MG42 trumps all in open ground. So those Guards would have much better... Actually, I'd say the Guards aren't actually that good in CQC against Panzer Grenadiers, because they only have that one submachine gun.
Yes, but the Guards also do have that DP.
Yeah.
And the DP is, statistically, just a lower rate of fire than the MG, it looks like. Actually, no, sorry.
I'd say, how bad is that?
It's not by much. It's 1 damage is for the P-Grens and double the suppression.
The rate of fire is a bit low. Yeah. I mean, it's just one DP in that squad, so it'd be like
double that
700 too. Or so, but still.
Looking at that, though, I mean, the Germans are breaking through to the south. They have a kidney right over here to the middle of everything at all. And a Katyusha barrage is going to come down to the south after this Tiga and its Pak-36 brethren. So might get some damage, but I wouldn't write home about that anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
And for really firing an entire barrage after an AT gun and a Tiger, they're dangerous, but I'm not sure I'd spend that much to declaw them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. You got that Tiger trying to move in. Still, these more T-34s. There's a barreling down. Like, geez, that's so many bloody T-34s. And you got some Su-85 and an Su-85.
Well, his shooter's killed already.
Yep, that's not good. That's not good at all for him.
Well, let's be fair at the same time too. I mean, that poor guy. Those tank crewmen were sent in with practically no training at this point in the war. Driver killed. It just seems like I really appreciate the fact that there seems to be a lot of immediate crits.
Yeah, it's pretty. Tank combat seems really bloody deadly.
As opposed to before it was bounce, bounce, bounce. You thought you were in the club listening to music.
Right now, we just want to see some penetration.
I feel like I should be dropping the bass right about now.
That sounds like a bass drop to like a dubstep song.
I was like penetration.
And that's our dubstep impression, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoop 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 whoop. Looking to the north, we haven't looked at the north in quite a while. We do have one Panther G that's been there for a really long time. Had an engine block get destroyed a long time ago. And a door knocker that's been fighting off pretty much everything that's been coming his way, and he will soon go down, I imagine. But for the moment, he is just lingering on like a dead porcupine under a porch. Panther G finally does go down, and the Germans have consolidated their hold still. Ooh, dude, we're getting a barbecue down the south. We have 5 grills coming in.
Oh,
four grills.
Christ, that's a lot. That's a lot of grills. Like, jeez.
Yes,
he really wants that high explosive advantage.
Well, to be fair, I can see him just trying to blow a hole through these tanks in this little tiny town here. So where we are right now, the Russians are clawing back a little bit. It's not quite tooth and nail, but it's just enough to be a pain.
Yeah.
I mean, they picked back up one of the kidney objectives, and yeah, that Panzer going to do is not going to be really to take out that half-track anytime soon, I don't think.
Nope. And far down south, we've got 2 T-34s barreling up the hill. The infantry's a little bit slow, and, well, we're probably going to need some more infantry or recon to get the Germans out of the forest down south.
Maybe, but we are seeing that the grills are getting blown up one by one. So this is why, guys, you always use charcoal and not the propane tanks. But man, I mean, if nothing else, the particles are kind of nice.
Yeah.
And what's actually flying way the heck over at this point? There's it's a Hummel. Well, someone doesn't know the word, so he's hummeling along. And I can't help but think that little armored push probably could have been handled a little bit more, efficiently.
Yeah, it definitely just seemed like a all to the ball sort of all move, just getting all those grills out and hoping for the best.
We are at least seeing, though, that it's 20-4, so the Russians are getting thrown back.
Damn, they've just lost so much territory, like, just in the middle, because they have nothing there.
Oh yeah, they're getting shoved to the Urals.
Now
I am fascinated to watch this bit of a resurgence down to the south. Several half-tracks, several tanks, and the Germans, well, the Germans are holding on to that little rinky-dink little copse of trees.
Yeah. That's overwhelming firepower for you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching Stewarts attack a tree line. Jeb Stewarts, that is. Civil War joke for us Americans, never mind. Let's see, Panzer Shrek, he has one shot, one opportunity. I'm not sure really how much he's going to be able to do. There is a Flak 88 behind behind the lines, though, and I think he's going to make himself known. Kill a loader, at least.
Nope, he's pinned down. Yeah, it's a real good push here from Dnestr down south. We've got the half-tracks rushing in to try to secure the 88 and knock him out. But we got some artillery on the T-34s doing some pretty decent hits.
Can you also talk about the fact that we actually have 4 Flak 20 mils being brought in as well?
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of flak. They got another 88mm flak gun as well as a SK-18 artillery gun.
I really, really enjoy the fact that now we don't have to worry about guessing what's in the back of a truck. It's like, what's in the box? We just know.
We know it's such a small change, but even just regular gameplay, it makes it so much easier to like figure out like, oh, did this unit I buy here in track run a Pioneer or a Stern Pioneer or something along those lines, or is it a Panzer Grenadier or is it the Panzer Grenadier of the Faust? You don't know just by looking at the icon.
Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle. The other half is blowing the enemy the fuck up.
Yes. The point of war is not to die for your country, to make the other bastard die for his.
That's definitely a quote I've seen many times in Call of Duty. When I die, playing Mile High Club.
I have died my fair share of times too, my friend.
Yeah, but the Russians have completely collapsed. I mean, they're holding the northern side pretty well, just due to the fact that that forest is a pain in the ass to go through, but yeah, in the middle they have the main frontline defense in the middle is the artillery park. That's really it, and then they're just trying to put in all the resources down south, but they've been trading pretty well with the German Tigers, I'd say, and Panther tanks.
That's true.
But not enough, because we got that one Tiger in like the southern middle area, and that's really it. Apart from that, Morozi has really just been bringing out like more flat guns and whatnot. Now, hey, we're seeing that rinky-dink 10-point recon plane. The AR-66C from the Germans.
Wow, that is really rinky-dink.
It's extremely rinky-dink. I'm very happy that it's like the unarmed recon planes now are only like 10 points, which is extremely cheap compared to like 55 points in SD44. It really makes it a good card to take now because they're so cost efficient. You know, it is extremely rinky-dink, to be fair.
Well, and like it says, the agility, excellent. The resilience, very bad.
And I just realized it does have a radio on it, so you can use it to call in accurate artillery fire.
Ooh, really?
That's yeah. Holy crap, that'd be really useful for counter-batterying. Getting a recon plane, spotting the artillery, and because it has the radio thing, it'll make your artillery shots accurate. Damn, that's a really good use of recon planes now. I mean, you could do it on ST-44, but it's much more significant with how artillery is map, touch and tire map.
It does make sense. It does make sense. But we did come to the end of it. So Dnestr did was taken out by Vartanin and Morozi, and Zhuko Dim, of course. Both guys kind of getting hit pretty damn hard here. Trying to see. I mean, it's going to be a mess in terms of back and forth. I mean, it was small little drip at 12 to about 14.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of Germans. But that's followed a couple minutes later. I mean, we're just back and forth all over the place.
It's everyone dies.
Yeah, you think it was a French story. So this is from. Oh my gosh, who is this from? This is from. Not Morozi, I could tell you that much.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell.
Oh well.
They usually give you a name at least.
And we are getting names, just not anybody that we care about. But regardless, guys, you can see it's the death and devastation just for the past 38 minutes. It's really worth it. It is worth it.
Yeah, that was cool.
We are going to continue our delving further and further into this game. Of course, if you want us to cast your game, let us know. Save that replay. Send it on in. We'll do it whenever we have an open beta window. If you haven't picked the game up yet, consider it. Take a look at what we got here. If you'd like it, go for it. If not, hit one of us up. We'll see if we can kind of sell you on it. But, Rang, any final thoughts?
None whatsoever.
Well, guys, in that case, then, we'll catch you all soon for another battle with SD2, and maybe some other things besides. But for right now, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru, take it easy.